Hold on, let's just.
Maybe be sure.
We'll,
I think that water.
okay, we're just gonna start our meeting.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. It's hard to do.
Sorry.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 10 a.m. But just before we get into business, we'd just like to pass a small welcome gift to our new CAO.
That's primary.
And you can work on either side.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You can open it now or later, but we just wanted to, we meant to have it a little bit earlier, but I used it. Yeah, you said it actually. Well, one of them.
Oh, okay. Nice. Or did the real meeting, is there something else?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's cute.
So you don't forget what town you're in.
Aw, everybody.
All right, so I'll just do the acknowledgement. The town of Smoky Lake respectfully acknowledges that we are situated on 76 territory, the traditional lands of First Nations and Métis. So we'll go into if there's any additions or changes or deletions to the agenda. Mary Ann?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So for council consideration, I would like to reposition 12.1 Dandelion Report to 11.3 under correspondence requiring action, and that would include pages 161 to 164.
Madam Chair, if we may, administration would like to move the former item of. Like that. 8.2. It was formerly 8.2. We required further administrative review on that item and are asking to move it into closed session for further discussion before proceeding.
Hello, how are you?
All right, any other additions or changes? Evelyn?
So I also would like to move an item from number 11 for correspondence, and that's the letter from the RCMP. That's the first one, A.
Got it. 12A.
And I would like to add it to correspondence requiring action.
Okay.
So it would become 11.4.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, anything else? Mel?
If there's nothing else, I'll make a motion to accept the agenda with the additions and rearranging.
All right, all in favor? And opposed? Okay. Right, we'll move into 3.1, July 14th, 2025 regular council meeting minutes. Mary Ann?
I'd like to move that the town of Smoky Lake adopt the July 14th, 2025 regular council meeting minutes as presented.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. 3.2, July 14, 2025 regular council meeting action.
I'll make the motion. The way that town of Smoky Lake adopt or accept the July 14th, 2025 regular council meeting action list as presented.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And then 3.3, July 22nd, 2025 special council meeting minutes, CAO recruitment. Mel?
Make a motion to accept the July 22nd, 2025 special council meeting minutes as presented.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. 3.4, July 22nd, 2025 special meeting. Mary Ann?
I'd like to move that the town of Smoky Lake adopt the July 22nd special meeting action list as presented.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. All right. We'll also move to public hearings. Although we're slightly early, right? Is that
Minutes are there.
Yeah, we gotta go by them. I was thinking, I think it maybe dollars. 7.1 the invoice, is that along? No, that's all good, okay, 7, well, that might be more than 5 minutes,
Okay.
I don't know. We'll skip to 7.1 as we have 5 minutes left, or 5 minutes before we can start the public hearing. So 7.1 HAK school gymnasium invoice.
Right, I guess that's me. All right, so there was a funding agreement for additional gymnasium space in the new school as executed on May 29th of 2025. Following which there was an invoice received for 85,000. So at that time, there was a motion made to include this into the borrowing bylaw. So administration is seeking direction on how to fund this, as that was not specifically in the original borrowing bylaw when funding was requested in June of 2022. We are requesting that this is funded through reserves, general operating reserve. We do have 998,663.93 available. So leaving a balance of $913,663.93. Administration has also provided an option for a debenture plan on a 10-year term. However, that's just an option. Admin is still recommending this come from general reserve. There's been a number of motions included for background information as well, which I don't think I will get into that specifically unless there are further questions. So the motion itself, as recommended, would be to allocate $85,000 from the general operating reserve to the Aspen View Public School Division to fund the additional 64 square meters of gymnasium space at the new HA. Kostesh?
Yeah.
So, to fund their capacity to host the provincial tournaments, which is why the request is being made. I will answer as many questions as I can.
No.
I don't have any questions. This has been ongoing for a while, and I guess the option is if we want to do the debenture or not. I'm in favor of the recommendation, just to pull it from the reserves.
Maria?
So I would probably support that. I have some questions I'd like to ask just for background information to recap. So I think it's quite straightforward. It was missed, and now we're kind of retroing it. So when we received the invoice on page 48, when was that received at the town?
Just lately, right?
It's, yeah, the invoice is dated May 28th, but
Like, I don't think it was ever invoiced. Like this Aspen View never invoiced. So is what I understood.
I've been informed that is correct.
Yeah.
so we just received the invoice in July or August.
Well,
And I think we were, I remember hearing at the last meeting. That they had just gotten it after in May, it was gonna be coming. So it wasn't that we didn't pay it, we just weren't invoiced for it. I hate to see there.
Yeah, no, I just normally, if I may, the process is there's a stamp that once it's received at the town office, there's a date that it's received. So I don't see the stamp. That's why I'm questioning it. It's not a reflection on any person or individual. It's just as the town, when did this come to us? And so I know it was prepared by Crystal and she's away. I almost think that
Like, no, that's a.
I understand. We do have, like, normally you do see the stamp on when it was received, but I don't think it changes the outcome of the decision that we need to. Okay, like, we've known this invoice was coming. I'm not sure why it took them so many years to get it to us, but we have. But we can definitely ask that. Like, have that some more information. I just don't think it changes that we still have to make it.
Eva?
Not a fan of taking it out of reserves, especially since we've had since 2020 to plan for this financial. Was the plan all, was that when all of the discussions? I'm just curious as to what previous discussions had to do with. How were we planning to pay for it then? And I'm not a fan, so no, actually, I disagree with all of you. I don't believe we should take it out of reserves.
No, did you, or, yeah. Yeah, that's okay. The reason I am going with reserves is because if you read, it's just the cost of the venture over the 10 years. Originally, I believe the idea was all of it together for the daycare in the school as well as this, that it was supposed to be one big.
I just like that this has been added to the agenda when the financial officer is not here. So if you are interested in making a motion to defer it to the next meeting, so we can ask Crystal more questions about it when she's in attendance at the meeting, I would support that motion.
Marianne? I somewhat disagree and won't support that, but my recommendation to council and administration is to defer it to a budget meeting. I think that our council should schedule a budget meeting for the fall and look at this in how it impacts maybe not only the current budget, but if we are setting up a debenture, the upcoming budgets. So I'm looking at this time to make a motion to defer it to a budget meeting and schedule a budget meeting and would ask for council support on that.
I wouldn't support deferring it. I feel this has been something that's been decided a few years ago. And we're. And it's, if you have to pay the bill, you should be, and you should do that. I don't see why we have to defer it. No?
I can get on board with deferring, but not to, but to the next meeting, when our financial first officer is here, if that's like if Evelyn has some, Councilor Copes has some more questions that can't be provided today, I don't have an issue with that. But to a budget meeting, I don't think so, because we have it, like, we have an invoice that we do have to pay. You know, and so and it's decided, it's done, I think we just need to, if there's more questions to be answered, I can get on board with that to the next meeting. That'll be September 15 or something, so, I can get on board with that, but I'm just worried about deferring it any longer.
Right, and my intention was to sway you because setting up a debenture is impacting future budgets. So paying the bill is the easiest out of reserves, I agree. But I thank you for Molly for providing the reserve update. I'd like to see a report and see what we're the interest rate is good at 3.72 for the debenture.
Was the daycare paid through the reserves?
No, debenture, the borrowing bylaw. And then we would need time to set up a borrowing bylaw.
No.
Yeah, I think the invoice came for one and not the other, so it was dismissed at that time. I'm still in favor of pulling in our reserves, but if there's questions that can't be answered, I'm also willing to make the motion to defer it to our September 11th meeting when our financial officer is here. If everybody,
Yeah.
because I,
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
If council is requesting further information from administration, could I get a list of what the specific questions are so we can prepare for that?
Mara, so thank you, CAO Fighton. One of my questions would be, was it previously identified in any of the budgets that took place from 2021, 22, 23, or 24? Or was it just assumed that it was lumped into the daycare? Or like, I'm concerned that we just received a bill for $85,000 and that impacts our budget today and moving forward. So that would be one of my questions.
Evelyn, did you want to add what they can prepare?
Yeah, so I would like a little bit more background on this, because if this is something that we've been expecting, where were the conversations that were supposed to lead up to this? And I don't like the fact that I received this on a Thursday and then I'm supposed to, over the weekend, come up with a decision to take this out of reserves or a debenture without a financial officer, our financial officer here to explain it.
Right. Okay, and so one other question, please. If we note on page 53, just for clarification, maybe a point of clarification, so we're presented with an agreement that was May 25th, 2025, and the former CAO's name, I would assume signatures on it as well. That would have taken place probably not May 25th, so this page, page 53, would need to align with what our interim CAO should have signed, or so point of clarity, please. Go ahead.
I can make a motion to defer this item to our September 15th.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. All right, we'll move back to 5.1 and we'll start with our public hearing. Road closure.
So good morning. My name is Amy Chernichon, Mayor of the Town of Smoky Lake. I'll be the chair for the hearing today, and on behalf of council, I'd like to welcome you all here. I'd like to take a moment to introduce councils in attendance. So I'll start with Evelyn Henry.
Hello, I'm Councillor Copes.
Already introduced myself, your turn.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marianne Prosky-Zerewski.
Good morning, Melody Morton.
Okay, so the hearing officially opens at 10:17. And the ground rules of the hearing and the order of speaking will be, the CAO and development officer will speak first to outline facts and present the recommendations by the proposed bylaw. Members of the public who have signed in will be given the opportunity to speak in the order they are signed in. Anyone else who did not sign in will be given the opportunity to speak. The CAO and development officer will be given the opportunity to present closing remarks or address any of the issues presented. Councils will be given the opportunity to ask questions. Council will then end the hearing and consider information received at the public hearing. Only councillors may ask questions of the speaker during the hearing. If any person wishes to ask questions of a speaker, they must ask a councillor to ask the question on their behalf during their presentation. And council will only ask the question if they wish to have an answer. Council will consider the representations made regarding the bylaw and any other matter council considers appropriate. I would at this time ask the CAO to confirm this public hearing has been advertised and notice has been provided in accordance with applicable legislation.
Yes, it has, Mr. Chairman. Public hearing notice for bylaw number 016-2025 road closure was advertised in the Redwater Review during the weeks of July 23rd and 30th of 2025.
Thank you. All right, I will ask the development officer to summarize the purpose of the hearing.
Purpose of this hearing is to obtain public input on the proposal to close public travel for the purpose of disposing of the following land adjacent to the east side of lot 16 and 17, block 7, plan 8721656, and lot 18, block 7. I don't have the rest of the legal. First reading of bylaw 16/2025 was given on July 14th, 2025.
Before hearing from the public today, I asked the CAO to advise of any written submissions received.
There was none.
Does council have any, or no one? Now I'll ask upon persons signed up on the sign-in sheet or who wish to do so virtually. In support of the proposed bylaw, please state your first and last name for the record. And then there'll be a time limit of 10 minutes, but I don't see anybody written, so that's correct, right? All right. I will now call upon persons signed on the sign-in sheet who wish to do so virtually who are opposed. Those, I don't see any written on the opposed either. And then is there anyone else who has not spoken and wishes to speak? And that is not either on the written or sign-in sheet. Right? And then if there's anybody, so there's no, that anybody wishes to speak, then I will close, being that there are no further presentations, I guess. The hearing closed at 10:21. Okay. All right, we'll move to 5.2 for the second public hearing regarding the gravel road alley access. I gotta read it all again. Good morning, my name is Amy Chernichin, the mayor of the town of Smoky Lake, and I'll be the chair of the hearing today. On behalf of council, I'd like to welcome you all. We'll do quick introductions of councilors in attendance in case there's someone new that's come.
Counselor Evelyn Copes.
Marianne Prosky-Zerowski.
Melody Morton.
Planning advice will be provided by Pam Roussier, the town development officer. I declare the hearing open at 10:22. The ground rules of the hearing and the order of speaking will be the CAO and development officer will speak first to outline facts and present the recommendation on the proposed installation of the gravel alley access on lot 37. Members of the public who have signed in and will be given the opportunity to speak in the order they signed in. Anyone else who did not sign in will be given the opportunity to speak. The CAO and development officer will be given the opportunity to present closing remarks or address any issues presented. Councilors will be given the opportunity to ask questions. Council will then end the hearing and consider the information received at the public hearing. Only councilors may ask questions of speakers during the hearing. If any person wishes to ask questions of the speaker, they must ask council to ask the questions on their behalf during their presentation. And council will only ask the question if a councilor wishes to have an answer. Council will consider the representations made regarding the gravel alley access road and any other matter council considers appropriate. I would at this time ask the CAO to confirm the notice of public input has been advertised and noticed, has been provided in accordance with the applicable legislation.
Yes, it has, Mr. Chairman. The notice of public input on the gravel alley access road on lot 37 was advertised in Redwater Review during the weeks of July 23rd and 30th, 2020.
Thank you. I will ask the development officer to summarize the purpose of the hearing.
The purpose of this hearing is to obtain public input on the installation of a gravel alley access road on lot 37, block 12, plan 7820208 on 4424 Maria Close East, based on motion 661/2025, made at the July 14th, 2025 council meeting. That town of Smoky Lake proceed with the installation of a gravel alley access road on lot 37, block 12, plan number 7820208, to be funded through the Housing Accelerator Grant Funding, Grant and Administration advertised and scheduled a public hearing.
Before hearing from the public today, I asked the CEO to advise of any written submissions received. No, okay. I will now call upon persons signed up on the sign-in sheet or who wish to do so virtually, who are in support of the proposed gravel alley access. And if you are, please state your name, first name and your last name for the record. And please note each party wishing to speak have an opportunity to do so and their time limit is 10 minutes. Are there any written, this was for the roll. Yeah, no, I don't, I'm sorry. No, that was a road closure.
Should be probably opposed.
Oh, yeah, right here. Okay. Sorry, yeah, they're written right here. All right, so we have Melvin Rook. And, okay, that's for, yeah, I see your saying. Yeah, that's
I'm on the
for
opposed.
opposed, sorry. Okay. No, none for in sport. So I will now call upon persons signed up on the sign-in sheet or who wish to do so virtually who are opposed of the proposed gravel alley access. Please state your name, your first name and your last name for the record. And please note, each party wishing to speak will have the opportunity to do so, and their time limit is 10 minutes. So first we have Melvin Rook.
It'll be Kate. Yeah.
You'll speak
I'll be
separately
speaking on behalf.
of Melvin Rook. Okay,
Yeah, my name's Keith Ruth. I live at 4428, right adjacent to the proposed roadway. I'm kind of opposed to it because of the traffic volumes coming through there. And not only that, I came up with a kind of maybe a solution. In the wintertime, I noticed that the gravel truck, the garbage trucks, and they're getting stuck in this turnaround. So I was thinking maybe to keep costs down is to put a turnaround in the proposed lot or a backup spot where they could go through, like just turn around. Lots of people walk through this way. It was designated green space many years ago by Hank. And they do walk through there, probably 15, 20 people a day, just kind of walk through there. So maybe a gravel pathway just to go through is kind of what I was thinking. I think it's a lot of money to spend to put a road through. There's 290 hooks. There's a great big bank that goes down. There's a gas line. There's a lot of, I think the cost for that would be huge. So that was my proposed, was just to keep it on a low budget, make a turnaround where the garbage trucks come back in and anything else, because we had a trailer the other day. And also on the end of the road, this road starts, the dead end roadside is hidden in the trees. So people don't even see it. So maybe move the sign out so people see it. That's what I was thinking along those lines, rather than put a full blown road in there where it's going to cost a lot of money to put in, for one thing. And the volume and the crime. I think the crime would go up substantially because now it's a gravel and they can park there. And it's right beside where we sit. So we're gonna get dusted out every day. And I don't think that's what we really wanted in our plan, but it's an idea I had. You guys can throw it around and see what you think. And it might be a lot better and more feasible. That's all I had to say. Just an idea I come up with, but maybe we should look at that maybe.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you have, anybody have questions? All right, are there any other on virtual? Please, so, hey, any questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
good morning. Good morning,
Good morning.
Amy. It's Hank Oloichik.
Oh, hi. Are you,
Are you open to questions at this time?
you have to ask through a counselor if it's a question. But you can.
Is he speaking on behalf of?
Yes, are you speaking on behalf of the road or in
Well,
opposed?
I'm looking for some clarification as to what the actual purpose of changing that from a green space to a gravel road is. Like, where did the request come from, and for what reason? That's the two questions I have. So if someone can clarify that for me, that'd be great.
Yeah, no. It's a lot, Hank, actually, it's a town lot, it's not designated green space. So it's actually a town lot, so, for one. And the idea is partially, like.
For safety.
For safety, issues, for fire, for the grader going through, for the garbage truck. Like we had said, there's some issues, there's no turnaround down there. So that was the thinking that started behind this, but yeah, it's not green space, it is a lot.
Okay, thank you. So just another clarification then. At a time when housing's in short supply in this community and service lots are going to be rapidly utilized, and with some major projects coming around the corner, why would we get rid of a service lot? That's my question to council.
It's not a service lot, and that is why we've changed, like we've decided to do something different with it. It would cost quite a bit to make it a service lot. So that's why. Otherwise, it would have been sold as a lot.
Do you know how many gas lines are hidden underneath that lot?
So they're not hidden, but yeah.
They have to be obviously
Tell you
detected.
what,
They will have to be found and told us where they are before we can start.
there's hundreds of them. They've been there for years. And it's kind of a serious problem.
Yeah, and it'll have to be addressed.
And I'm not trying to be smart ass, they're there, I know, I've been there for 20, 30 years. And there's always finding gas lines. Whether they're active, I don't know. Some are, some aren't. And I'd hate to see somebody dig it up and hit one. That's my opinion, I'm sorry.
No, all right. All right. If there are no other persons to speak, there is a lot, like one more opportunity for someone to speak if they have not spoken yet and would like to speak.
Yeah, Amy, if I can, then with all due respect to everybody, and I know there's changes in administration, et cetera. With a proposal like that in front of council, there should be some hard cost estimates regarding what it would take to actually turn that into a usable gravel road. And then once that happens, dust becomes an issue, and then you're going to look at dust control issues, et cetera, like you're facing around the rest of the town. So there should be some full costing put into place before you just move ahead with this bylaw and designate it as an access area. Thank you.
Mel?
I would just like to respond to that. Thank you for your concern, Hank, but council did get quotes. We have had discussions. This is a public hearing so that we can hear from the public on what their concerns and thoughts are on it. But to say that council just jumped into something that's not accurate. But thank you for your concern.
Yeah. And so, Councillor Morton, I'm not inferring in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what you did or did not see, but I don't know what's available for the public, the document as to what cost. Is there a cost attached to that? Like, because that's where I'm going. I'm not inferring anybody's making uneducated, uninformed decisions. I'm just saying that when you're looking at those things, they should all be laid out on the table on the bylaw, so everybody knows the full picture. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Okay, if not, I will, we will, being that there are no further presentations, I declare the hearing closed at 10:33. And just so everybody understands, there's no decision made right now. Like, this is just to get input from everybody so that we can include it in our decision when we're ready to make it. Yeah, this is just the beginning process, so
Okay.
and that's why we appreciate people coming to.
Keith and Reeves face.
We would like to differ.
Our front door is here. There is the road you want to put through, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all, we're trying to keep it on a low level.
Yeah.
And I have a hell of a big budget dynamite somewhere.
We have any questions later on, we contact you guys.
Of course.
We live directly across from that empty lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
You constitute?
Right across the driveway.
But we're gonna continue with our meetings, so unless, yeah.
So will we get an update of, like, eventually get something back to us of the conclusion?
If there's,
Something?
I believe once things are decided, there'll have to be a letter sent to those of the adjacent to it. Because you'll be affected and then there's always an appeal.
Thank you guys for all
Thank
coming.
you for
Yeah.
having us, and, yeah, we're good to go. Thank
We
you.
can go now, eh?
Thanks, guys. See you, Joe.
You're very welcome, you're very welcome. I wouldn't miss it.
Thanks for your time.
If I can get out of here.
I'll
be
run
right.
into
You take care.
Have a great rest of your weekend.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, so we'll move to.
Have a good day, girls.
Thank you.
So. Yeah, administrative reports. Are there any questions for admin? No?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, or did you have something?
I just have an update regarding the EV charger. It's supposed to be repaired this Wednesday,
Okay.
August 13th.
Okay. Mel? I just had a question for, Public Works. So, again, with the tie-in, thanks for the pictures, thanks for the report, it's good. I have no issues with that. I do wonder why we still, like, why do we still have a cone there? Why don't we just like sweep all the rocks back in and make it nice and then take the cone away? Why do we still have like a pylon in the middle of the road?
Just wanted to give it a little bit of time to settle naturally first, but we can definitely remove that. I think enough time has passed where the initial settling should be complete.
Thank you. It's just been bugging me all week.
Okay. Any other questions for admin?
Madam Chair.
Yep.
There's just one item, and I don't want to draw too much attention to it at this point, but in reviewing some of these reports, I did chat with John about the update for the SO garbage cans. He had drafted a report, but it was kind of, in my opinion, it was kind of empty content because there wasn't much to report on at this time. So you might notice that while there are motions made with specific dates for the items to come back, if there is some substantial information, it will be presented as a public work in the administrative reports, unless council prefers to do it that way, but just to help streamline some of these reports.
Okay. Evelyn?
Just want to follow up on what you were just telling us about the electric vehicle, so thank you very much. If anything, the one thing that I would like to just make admin, as John aware, or sorry, Public Works aware of, is that there's a very active community online that talk about when our EV charger is working and when it's not. It's actually both positive and negative. Positive because I didn't realize that that charger was so popular, which is why I'm advocating for a second one to be installed there and maybe do a little bit more with that area now that we know so many people from Cold Lake, Lac La Biche, and Fort McMurray use it. But also the flip side negative is, of course, that's where someone we hear the comments about the town when it's not. So instead, I would prefer us not to be relying on someone contacting us by email on behalf of a group that or whatever have you, but if we could monitor that a little bit more closely, then I think that's to our benefit. So that's just my call from electric vehicle, but otherwise, thank you very much for getting that fixed, because that was important, so thank you.
One question, Madam Chair?
Yeah.
So in that regard, what has been our standard practice for advertising on the EV charger? Do we typically provide notices to the community when it's down or not? Or have we just kind of launched it and said it's here and then that's kind of where it's at?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe there's been any, other than the actual dates.
Mainly the town Facebook page is
So that is how the public is aware of if it's running or
typically
not.
how we notify the public about if things are shut down for repair or things like that.
Once we noted,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think the EV chargers are on our website too, like as a thing, so. I don't know why they are. All right. Any other questions? Evelyn?
So another, I do have a question for Public Works. Bylaw enforcement followed up on bylaw complaints at 16 different sites. That's actually a real jump. Usually you have respond to a bylaw complaint, but there's 16 different complaints that came in.
For different, like, and some of them were like, a lot of them were grass, like long grass, complaints, and also letters that we discovered just in our normal work. We are try to be proactive about lawn grass so that people don't have to complain about it, and we're trying to be on top of that so people don't have to complain. For a letter sent out, because it is a bit of a, there is a timeline to having the letter sent out, and people have a appeal period. So yeah, there is a bit of a timeline there, so we try to keep on top of it the best we could.
So for clarification, so it says bylaw complaints at 16 different sites. But what you're now saying is some of these were not complaints, these were internal.
That's where letters sent out. They weren't all complaints, approximately half of them were complaints. I should have specified that they were infractions, not complaints.
Okay, so bylaw infractions at 16 different sites. And then some of the complaints, was it a group of neighbors getting together to complain about the one, like was there, or was it just separate? I'm just curious about this because we're talking about bylaw
separate
enforcement and this is ICC and we're talking about a peace officer, so something like this, I'm really interested in monitoring.
Those were just 16 addresses, so, and then some people submit multiple complaints for multiple addresses, so. That's the amount of addresses that we either sent letters to, talk to the property owner. Those are the number of infractions that we followed up on.
Molly, did you have any?
Yeah, just to add to that, sorry to put John in the spotlight, but this is something that I discussed with him. I actually had him add the number because of the discussions with ICC and in regards to regionalization. I think it's important that we're tracking so we know what the town is dealing with on our end. And so this might have been a little bit premature to have him throw in some of these numbers, and some of them he needs to still work on just in terms of overall asset management. I think the more details we can keep track of, the better, but I kind of put him on the spotlight by not providing the details behind that. So if that's something that council wants coming forward, if broken up by kind of category, we can look at doing that. But I think it's a very first step. We just needed to kind of monitor the workload for bylaw enforcement on our side of things, so.
No, Marianne?
So I'd like to move at this time that the town of Smoky Lake accept the verbal and written administrative reports for July 10th through to August 6th, 2025, to include CAO meetings, administration, development, FCSS, and public works.
You have one piece of discussion? Okay,
I'll be ready after this. This one has to do with the gas and water meters. So this is something that I would like to flag for current admin. It has, and this came up at budgeting time, and that is when we track how much money has been allocated to gas and water meters. We've had 2 years under, and I'm going to call it my watch because my term is coming to an end. But for the first 2 years that I was on council, water and gas meters were not changed, and that has to do with COVID. Then there was a report about that decided not to do it one summer because if the meters were ordered, then they didn't have enough time to install them. So we are really running on our watch. We're running behind on the gas and water meters. So I did bring this up at one of the budget meetings when we were talking about it. And I do remember when you had, I couldn't find it, but I know that we had a meeting where you talked about the life of a gas meter, and I remember that being included in one of your reports. So so this is why when I've been following your reports for the last few months, we've had we have a line here that says gas meters changed on May 12th. We have replaced gas meters on June 2nd. We have replaced gas meters on June 23rd. And now we have changed gas meters. So it's good to see that for the last 4 months that we've been having this done, but I have no idea what streets they've been done for, how many have been changed. And again, it's not so much that I want to get into operations, but I would appreciate more if before October, while this council is still together, if we had a much more detailed and fuller report so that we understand not only where we're at. But I also don't want the next council to be, I would like this all updated. And for the next council to be apprised of where they're at so that to help with their decision making. But it is something that I'm concerned by, because I'm at a loss at how much. When it comes to the budget, how many have been changed, what streets have been done, et cetera, et cetera. And even asking, I'm assuming there's a plan, so.
John?
Yeah, it's still in progress. We have, don't quote me on this, but we have about 15 to 20 in our current batch to change out, and then we'll be sending them all in for refurbishment.
So what I would like to do is, yes, I'm going to, Marianne has a motion on the table, so we can move forward with that. But I would also like a subsequent motion that we ask admin to bring an update, a report on the water and gas meters to our next meeting.
All right, all in favor of Mary Ann's motion? Not opposed, so carried.
And then I'll make that motion.
What is your, okay, you can make the motion, but what are you looking for information? Because I believe we've been told. We've been given progress of what's happening. I just don't want to get too deep into what's operational versus what's.
It's not operational, or I'm not directing, I'm asking for an update where we're at with the gas and water heaters. And also where we're at with the budget for this year, as well as for the last 3 years.
Okay.
I think I can add to kind of bridge some of that understanding or point of clarity. It is, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but it's a capital project that so much money is allotted for, so I can support maybe a year-to-date report, so it's say January to July or January to June, 6 months, that we should be on track, right, for replacement or the installs, right? So if not to take away from being operational, but if we have a capital report done on where we're at year to date, I think that would benefit council to know if the money is allotted to meet the project and that we're on track, on time, and under budget. Would that be something that we would consider?
Molly?
Yeah, so just further to that, if we do bring forward capital budget reports quarterly, I'm just wondering when the next one might be due, that would be an appropriate time.
We just have it.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that wasn't part of that.
Not specifically the meters or.
Okay.
I think it's important what we're doing, and I think even to, from a resident point of view, there's a life cycle, right? Every 7 years they're to be replaced, and are we on track?
Well,
Okay, so I just want to clarify, so Evelyn's looking for a report on the meters. Are we talking about, are you comfortable with a friendly amendment to do she's talking about the entire project list?
Evelyn?
So last time we had our council meeting, we had an update, because I followed through with the sidewalks, and we see how that changed. So that was something that was part of our capital budget. They were outlined in red. So I pursued it and asked if we could please have it added to the council agenda, and we did, and as a result, how we're approaching the sidewalks has changed.
Sorry, I'm just asking though if you're comfortable with the friendly amendment instead of just meters.
And then the reason I gave you that preamble is because that's actually where I'm at now with this, with the water and gas meters, because it is in red on our capital budget because of what happened. That's why I led with the previous 2 years. So I really would like actually an update on where we are on this. And no, I do believe it needs to be a special, like a specific report, similar to what we just did with the sidewalks, not part of a general capital budget. I'll support that too.
All right, so you made your motion?
Yes.
Can you recap it? Sorry,
Yeah, that's what I was.
when you're my age, you'll forget to.
It's September 15th.
What was the motion?
Should go.
I just have that the town of Smoky Lake bring back a report on water and gas meter replacement capital projects year to date, or do you want multiple years?
I would like multiple years first.
Which was, what years? The 20.
Well, with the last 2 years.
So 2023 and 2024 and up.
Including 2025.
Okay, got it.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? 7, we'll move on to deferred items. 7.2, in-kind assistance of the Smoky Lake Pumpkin went up and together.
On this item, there was a motion made on July 14th of 2025 to defer the Smoky Lake Pumpkin Growers Association sponsorship request. With that being said, we wanted to bring back information for the 2023 and 2024 in-kind work to this meeting today and include any projected in-kind work for this upcoming season. So we provided a breakdown for these previous years with the estimated work for 2025 coming in at just over $10,000, $10,929 for in-kind support. There is a separate council report also just in terms of the actual non-in-kind support as well. So the recommendation that administration is seeking is for council to just accept the reports provided for the in-kind work for previous years, and that we can have the estimated amount of $10,929 approved for in-kind work this upcoming year.
Marianne?
So I'd just like to open up the discussion on this, and I'm thankful for the work that was done from administration. Thank you for looking into this. It was deferred so that people, I would assume people on the board could attend the July 22nd pumpkin growers meeting and then bring back the information. My concerns are, so we're not supporting a Sunday event. So middle of the page, no Sunday event. And yet the ask of in-kind is almost $1,000, well, $800 higher than the year before. And then my other concern is how we're going to afford this, not only in terms of providing support, but with the election being so close in timing. When you take down, or if you break down the admin work, middle of the page, that it's the 4 hours at $539 and then 8 hours at $1,600. It works out to be on average for that person, 33 something an hour. I'm concerned that how are we going to afford it? And then time-wise, how can we budget for this?
No.
Also, I was just wondering, we've projected this year 4 staff in administration for 4 hours, whereas last year it was 3 staff for 4 hours. So I guess I'm wondering why we have more. Because I have the same concerns, like we have 1 less day and more money that we're looking at. And yeah, so I guess the administrative part, 4 staff for 4 hours confuses me a little bit, but I realized that Molly wasn't at the pumpkin growers meeting. So this is a hard question to answer when I don't think.
Carly might have.
Okay.
One of the staff who worked previously for the pumpkin growers would be working as a pumpkin grower during the weekend. That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
So at this time, and thank you for that, Carly. At this time, because it was prepared by the assistant CAO and she's not present, and I would assume she attended the meeting on July 22nd. I'd like to accept the first part where the recommendation is to accept previous years for information, but my recommendation to council would be to make another motion to defer the 2025 taking a look at that to the next meeting, and then maybe with the option to provide better clarity at that point.
No?
Yeah, I'm actually comfortable with that. I do the 4 staff 4 day thing. If it was a pumpkin grower before, then the pumpkin grower can do it again, not the staff, right? That's their board. I'm not sure that we need to add to that. I know you're not sure. I'm just looking at you guys. I know you don't know, and I don't expect it. I don't expect you to, but that's just where I'm coming from. I want to support them. It's a big event. We need to do, we just gotta, I just have a couple questions. It's not that I'm opposed to it, but yeah, just a couple questions. So I'm okay with that. Oh, my turn to make the motion that we accept for
Could
information.
I ask just one question? Could we just then suggest that we will support what was done in the past, if that's what we're comfortable with? I mean, they have to make arrangements that there's only 3 staff that come and they provide the whole, I don't know.
And
Like, I would be comfortable with that if that's, and then we can let them decide how they wanna proceed.
yeah,
Mary Ann?
so thank you. And I hear what you're saying, but the ask is higher than in the past, so I'm not sure how in terms of how can we support that, not just financially, but in terms of in kind, like our time. We have an election, the staff are being pulled in various directions, and there's a lot of, there might be the advanced polls and everything in the prep work, so I'm looking at spending more in terms of the sponsorship and then cutting back. That would be, yeah.
Yeah,
Because if you see, and just to clarify, so 2024 is 10-1, 2025 is looking at 10-9, so that's an increase.
I would, sorry, Madam Chair. I would imagine though, there would have been some COLA increases, staff wage changes that by each line add up to an $800 difference.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get much clarity regardless to bring this back, but I can certainly ask specific questions.
No.
No, and I thought of that too, that's part of it. Mine is the extra staff. This year.
Yeah.
Administration staff that I have the question on, not so much the wage or how much it is, but the actual additional administrative staff, because I have the same concern that we're gonna run ourselves thin at the town, right at that time, that's all. Because I'm assuming, I also have a couple questions, like if these staff are working all weekend, are they then off during the week? Like that, those are the questions that I have just want clarity on, I guess. So it's not so much, yes, the financial dollar, but for me, I'm agreeing with Mary Ann that I have some questions on, are we cutting ourselves short? Is council gonna sign up administration to do all this work? And then they have all these other things that need to be done as well. So I just had a couple questions to clarify there. It's not so much the funding we need to support, we just, I guess part of my question, one of the things I would like clarity on is this what the pumpkin growers have requested, or are we just kind of suggesting that that's what we have available, or can they, I don't know if they asked for the specific number of people, I guess, is what I'm also wondering. So if we could get clarity on just that, or if we can cut that back a little bit to make a little bit more room for our duties here, especially due to election time. That's kind of where I was at, sorry.
Okay. Ellen?
So I'm gonna support the motion to defer it from more information, or however you phrase it. Thank you. Just two comments about that too, is because this ties into our personnel policy, where it was a new to that we were going to, staff was going to have so many volunteer days. So it's not clear, given this information, whether that's involved. And a request too, can we please have this done in an accounting chart? When I have to sit there with a pen and sit down and write the numbers next to each other and align the years and so on, could we please get it in a chart that's similar to the reports that we get for utilities, where all like numbers are beside each other, preferably not century Gothic font as well. So just for easier reading, so we can see that, because I can't, when we look at the numbers, I'd like the numbers to be easier to read.
Okay, so Martin, you want me?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to defer the check for information, no, I'll just gonna make a motion to defer the Smoky Lake Pumpkin Growers Association sponsorship request and that administration bring just back some additional information.
Since the income sponsorship is now.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the next one. Thank you. The town of Smoky Lake defer the staff in kind work for 2025 Pumpkin Way Out Fair, and if administration could bring back some additional details to the September council meeting, regular council meeting.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And then are we making this approach to accept 2024 and 23? Yeah. Financials.
Okay, so is that, would you want to do that as well, or is that coming, you don't want that to come back then as a?
Not the,
as
she's just saying we're
basis for the
accepting.
comparison? I move that the town of Smoky Lake accept the staff in-kind work report as presented for the year 2024 and 2023 with totals for information in reference to the motion 631/2025.
All in favor? Any opposed? And carried. All right. Smoky Lake Pumpkin Growers, 7.3, Smoky Lake Pumpkin Growers Association sponsorship request.
This report is in regards to actual monetary sponsorship, so we did receive a letter from the Growers Association. It outlined the different levels of sponsorship. The highest being the platinum sponsor, and that is 1,500 plus. And so what we've done, similar to the last report, is provide background information on previous years in terms of what was provided for sponsorship from the town. The motion as it stands for council consideration is that we would provide 1,500 for the 2025 Great White North Pumpkin Fair and Way Off for this upcoming year. And that money would be funded from the operating budget underneath grants to individuals and organizations. When we look to see what was remaining, there is $4,350 remaining in the operating budget underneath this GL category. I've been informed that we typically don't have any other sponsorship requests at this time that we need to be mindful of for the rest of the budget year. So.
Yeah. There is a date of the 15th, I think, of August that they kind of wanted to know for the sponsorship. So I'm in favor of the recommendation.
I would support the recommendation as well.
Evelyn, did you want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion that town of Smoky Lake accept for information the staff in, oh, no, I just did. We all did, except I didn't vice versa. That town of Smoky Lake approve the Giant Pumpkin Platinum sponsor package in the amount of $1,500 for the 2025 Great White North Pumpkin Fair and Way Off held on October 3rd to 5th, 2025 to be funded from the 2025 operating budget under grants to individuals and organizations in reference to the sponsorship request letter received June 10th, 2025.
All in favor? Any opposed? And carried. 7.4, CN station update. John?
Just another additional update on this. The bench was completed and painted and moved into the station since the creation of this report.
Marianne?
So I have a couple of questions and thank you, John, for the work that you've done and prepared this. In the previous motion, and no fault, I'm not trying to be combative, but the previous motion identified that council would like to look at the staffing. So I'm wondering if we have, I know it's the summer students, but do we have 2 FTEs or and our plans are to be open June, July, August. Some things that maybe wouldn't be under your scope, John, if admin would like to speak to that. And I'd make a different motion at the time when it comes time to this.
Sorry, that's not really under my purview, like, so I can't speak to the specifics of that, but there is two summer students that work there. The hours are 10 o'clock AM till 6 PM. And for more of the specifics, I may have to come back with that.
That's all I can add as well. I toured it myself and yeah, I knew that there was two summer students rotating on schedule. And they are open until, they work until September and then come back for the pumpkin festival to help out, and that is it. It's my understanding.
Yeah. So, previous discussions to this were to establish a business plan, and I think now we have our new CAO, I'd like to bring back previous motions that were 277 and 326 that council would look at scheduling the time to create a strategic plan for development of the CN station and on which to move forward on. It is late in the season, but setting up next council might be an opportunity, even if we spend a short amount of time at the next meeting or held a separate workshop or something that would be not an all-day thing, a couple of hours maybe, just to provide our new CAO with direction by which to create a document and carry out a plan forward. Would you like me to make a motion or?
Well, first can we accept this?
Yeah, I just have a comment about, and not that I don't think I think it's a good idea. I think maybe we have a committee though, right? Like, no, but we have a committee that maybe could meet with council is what I meant, like, because the plan involves a little bit more people, right? We're doing the heritage and tourism, and I think that information would be needed for the town. Like, maybe we should have another committee meeting. The subcommittee meeting from the Heritage Board to bring something to council is what I guess I'm suggesting, because it's hard for council to know if they're not on that one.
Yeah.
Marianne, and thank you. I see that you're trying to sway me, and on this one, I'm going to stand firm because it was our intention as a town-owned asset to develop a plan that could focus around not tourism, but training. How do we train our staff? How do we, the hours of operation, something that town would decide first and then roll out to the tourism subcommittee. So I think we want to put the horse before the cart and say the town provides this direction and this is what we're mandated to do. And as council, we have two previous motions, one that went to the budget and one that was waiting until our CEO was in place to develop this plan. And again, it's not something, it's not a 3-day intensive, we're gonna roll out a business plan. It's just a high level overview of what should happen and who takes on the training, like, and to speak to that, like, John, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you built a bench and it looks gorgeous, but who's paying for that and who gave the direction to do that? That's something that, and you don't even have to answer, it's done. But we're looking at cleaning up and maybe having something to do with the upstairs and the offices. That should all come from council and be driven by council with what we're looking for the future, what it holds.
Evelyn?
Two things. First of all, just want to say thank you for moving the display case and for emptying out those rooms, because that was the discussion that I had after my tour. So I'm glad to see that get done. So thank you very much for that. Secondly, you say that there's a motion that we already have. Can you please? You said that for the CAO at the business plan?
We had it brought back. Yeah, so we had it. A previous motion with the former CAO was to do a business plan. It came back that there was no certainty as to what council wanted. Then we kept postponing it. So the reference motions that I looked at were 277, March 31st, it would go to a budget meeting because there's budget implications. Then it came back on Motion 326, April 7th. I don't have that information, so I'm sorry. That we were going to wait and establish a future date for the workshop or the business.
Right. Yeah. So then the motion is already on the table then. That we were going to establish. Maybe it was not action. Yes. Yes. Is it the Carly, because there's already a motion, then we just gotta, Carly?
The motion for 277 is defer the CN station business plan to the next scheduled budget meeting. And it's still on our action list
Okay.
to bring back to a budget meeting.
We brought it up on the budget meeting April 7th and it turned into motion 326. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
326 is to accept for information the website analytics report.
So it's the wrong motion.
Oh, sorry, 327, probably. Set a strategic planning meeting for the CN station on a date to be determined to discuss council vision for the CN station or for administration to complete business plan as per motion. 26, yeah, 26,
Sorry, I gave you the wrong motion.
Okay, so we have a motion to get a business plan. So are you comfortable with that as bringing it to their attention and asking them to bring forward that business plan?
But somewhat, but we haven't given the council input as to what it would look like.
Evelyn?
So there is a motion that in the statuses it has been completed, correct?
In the action list, it says email council for prospective dates, and it was completed. I emailed everybody April 11th, 2025. For prospective dates.
It must have went awry. Like nobody aligned.
So if I may, what I'm hearing is not so much that we need to make another motion right now, because there's already a motion on the books doing exactly, so this is a reminder that you're saying. Because we already have a motion on the books.
Schedule a date.
Okay, to schedule, so. Unless there's been something that happened, like, yeah, 4 of us are drawing a blank on this, so.
Why, don't look at me, I don't even give you the right.
No, I don't, I'm just. I'm just saying you are correct. You're bringing the motion forward and it sounds like it just hasn't been completed. That was where we left it, was that there was something that was supposed to be scheduled. So I'm just saying, guess what? You don't need to make another motion. The motion is already there. If anything, this is a refresh, a reminder that this motion is on the action list and we need to do something with it.
Okay. Maria?
My intention is, because this was prepped on our agenda, I thought it would tie into what is outstanding. I think the motion should be to schedule time as council with the new CEO to develop a bit of a plan that they could come back and work on. And if that could be on or before or after the September 15th on the same day, that could be convenient to everybody. And that gives enough lead time, although it's late in the tourism season, but it would set up the next council. That's why I'm not suggesting we spend a lot of time on it.
No.
I can get on board with that motion for that. We schedule a
This is our meeting regarding the CN station, following our.
It's already there.
no, just the date. Yeah, I'm just talking about the specific date to follow the council meeting on September 15th.
Yeah, I can go on with.
Yeah,
So then
it's a scheduled meeting to, yeah,
So I'm gonna move that the town of Smoky Lake schedule a business plan development strategic business plan development for the CN station after the regular September 15th council meeting. To follow.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried, and then we're gonna have to accept the CN for information.
I'll make a motion to accept the CN station update for information.
All in favor? None opposed, so
Can I ask you a question? So on September 15th, what council is expecting what specifically to come back at that time?
I think we're supposed to update you with what we wanna see at the CN,
Okay,
correct? That's what I'm getting from Mary.
I just want to be clear on what I'm bringing back on that meeting date.
The development of a business plan, because we're not addressing the training, if I may, the training, what the messaging is behind it, the branding and the upstairs could be used as an office incubator or rental or
But we're expecting to see an actual business plan brought back for September 15th.
no,
Okay.
just the brainstorming.
Can I also just suggest there is the budget line, so just the budget, what we have available. If there is a motion in it, Crystal and Tamara have been part of like the subcommittee. They have some information and some ideas there, so for me, what I would be expecting from administration that day is who's staffing it, the amount they're staffing it, the dates, and a budget. That's, I think, what, as council, what we would need from administration that day so that we can have the tools to develop something.
Evan? There's also been previous motions, so there's been, if you look at the material that's been provided to us before this. Which got us to that motion.
Okay, 7.5 amendments to the Ag Society Complex Agreement. Mel.
Thank you, John, for updating this and including the flags and the wording on the winterization of that. I'm happy with it, with the changes, so.
Some detail on item G in the proposed amendments to the agreement. The Ag Society, I don't believe they've received it yet, but they're interested in purchasing a ice cover. So they'll be able to put in the ice earlier before pumpkin fair, and this cover will enable them to host the pumpkin way off while the ice is there. And then they just asked if you can provide assistance if they decide to purchase that.
Mel.
It has been purchased and it will be here shortly. I would be interested in some of the town employees if time permits. Because the company is coming to train on the first installation they're gonna put it in. If the so a couple of the public works or yourself are available to come and check it out, that would be beneficial for sure. It will be here, I think, before this season.
Marianne.
So, and I like the idea and thank you for that. I'm concerned though with setting a precedence because the curling rink does also install ice and if we're helping one agency, we might want to look at how we can help other agencies as well. How much time do you think that would need to be allotted for, John, and how many people?
For the ice cover.
Just really quick, this isn't to install the ice. They hire to install the ice.
To assist
Yeah,
with
but
the
cover.
installation and removal. Cover.
The cover, yeah. Just so you know, it's not the ice
Right,
the
right, right.
installation.
And so the curling rink is different, it's not ice, it's just the cover.
They've helped with the mats here and there, very like an hour sort of roll them up because they need 4 men.
Just some additional information, we do assist the curling rink sometimes. There's.
They have a liner.
It's a liner, yeah, so we help remove that.
I don't know if they know how many hours they will be putting into the cover. Evelyn?
So I was reviewing all the agreements, the one between the curling rink and the senior center or the drop-in center are quite similar. But that's actually comparing apples to oranges in this case, is it not? So actually, it's similar to what we have with the golf course. Is how the Ag Society is set up, because I'm looking at the golf course agreement, and it's quite a bit more detailed, protects us a little bit more. Also requests that a financial statement is submitted on an annual basis, which this doesn't have. Anyway, I'm a lot more comfortable with the language that is used in the one with the golf club that I think can be flush out this one a little bit more, especially when it comes to liability, who's responsible for who. There's nothing about
Are
Um,
you speaking about the Equity Society or the
Yeah.
club?
these two right here. Because that's what I just asked, like, they're similar in how we deal with them. So this is the kind of previous agreement that we had that has a lot more detail in it than this one has. And it also talks about hazardous materials not being allowed and what to do in that case and
Mel? Yeah.
So this contract, we just,
also providing corporate bylaws. Making sure that they have a bylaw in place and that the
okay,
society.
but we've already accepted this and we've already done it. This is an amendment to what is going to be an in-kind working help instead of the financial. I would say any contract is different. This is very different than the golf course. Like our agreement with the golf course, it would be very, very different. So I think what we're looking at here, like if you're talking about redoing the whole thing, I'm not interested or like I can't support that. What I would like to look at is the highlighted areas that we're talking about changing in this contract. To include, just so that the so it's laid out very clear, but it's not one-offs all the time, right? So that's where I'm at.
I 100% disagree with you, and this is why. We've had real challenges with agreements for the last 4 years, where there's different agreements and different things, agreements not being signed on time, when is agreement. So I really would like to have a cleanup of the agreements. It's great that we got this in place, but it sure was a long time in coming. And when I read the language in this one and much more, then I realize how much is missing in this one. So just because we have an agreement in place doesn't mean let's stick with the agreement, especially because we have found, like, when I look at this, there should be a heck of a lot more consistency with how we deal with in our agreements, especially because I do find it important. It's just because I do find it important that we actually, because we're giving the agricultural society money, that we do have the financials that are submitted to us. Because we're giving the taxpayer money, it's not in the agreement, it needs to be included in the agreement. And also that bylaws are in place and it also, and also hazardous materials that are on the property when it comes to liability.
Marianne?
So, and thank you, Councillor Copes. I disagree with both you and Councillor Morton at this time. Sorry. But it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. So we have a motion in front of us. It's motion 636. We were to see a list, a compiled list of seasonal activities. I want to stick to the topic, seasonal activities. My question earlier to John, thank you for providing that. I don't see the list, but I do see it incorporated into the agreement. So thank you. Thank you for preparing this for us. My question to you is, I just want to make the decision on behalf of our residents and taxpayers. How much time do some of these things take? So I can identify that changing flags is quite easy, so that wouldn't take a lot of time. So I'm ready to pass the recommendations with the follow-up of projecting how much time you could say that the new E, F, and G would take. And I'm saying this very respectfully to my fellow councillors.
John.
Just to provide some, I'm not sure how relevant this information is, but just speaking to your point of the golf course leases the land from the town versus the ag society owns that property where the complex is.
And for how much time would E, F, and G take?
We did in the discussions for the original agreement, we did gather that information. I don't have it at the moment, but I can bring that back. And then there's also these additional proposed
That's the one
items.
that she can.
That's the only ones we want to know.
Just the new ones, yeah.
It wouldn't be
Yes.
changing flags, I would say. Would be negligible. It's every couple of years or when requested to change those flags. I would say half an hour to an hour to complete that. turning off the water service we do annually because the meter is above ground and not heated. So that's part of our normal operations for that. And then assisting the Ag Society with winterizing that building. I don't know for sure, but I would say probably 2 to 3 hours possibly, depending on what we would assist them with specifically. And the ice cover, I'm not sure at the moment. I haven't seen what the process is for that, but just a guess for that would be probably 2 to 3 hours, I would say.
Okay, I think
So
probably
in total, we're looking at probably
7 hours.
8 hours annually.
Marianne?
So based on not knowing what G is at this time, and that could always come back to council as a separate part. I'm prepared to move on E and F at this time so we can move forward with the amendment to the agreement. How does that sound?
Well, I'd like to see G in there. We can change it if it's really crazy after. Because after a couple of years, we notice it's taking 3 days of our time, but. No,
I think they, just so I did, this is like a little bit more information, I believe that the company had said that it, depending on how many volunteers you have, it was a total of. But if you have
And
more
how many-
volunteers,
So how many staff would we be sending?
the intention is that the Egg Society is going to, volunteers are going to be doing this. This would be just if we needed some additional help, but my understanding from the meeting, the Egg Society volunteers would be, and employees would be installing it, like employees at the complex. This would be like the
emergency.
extra if we need it, yeah.
Carry heavy lifters. John?
Oh, sure, hand up
She's
first.
gonna make the motion. Sorry. Go ahead.
So, well, and again, not to be combative, because we don't know, and there's a lot of variables with G, so I'm not gonna support having G on the agreement, and I'm gonna move forward on E and F right away, so we can progress. Unless there's something, when we can't vote on something we don't know at this time, and it's new, so why would we put our staff and new council coming in October to, this agreement comes due in 2026 anyways, so
Mel?
Just then, can I suggest, because this would have to be re-signed by the Egg Society in the town, can we just bring back that information? And they'll be installing it, I'm sure, next month. The Egg Society, because I'm pretty sure the ice is going in and then the pumpkin fair will be coming, so. Like, do you want to, I'm okay if you want to, I just add those other ones, but then we're getting it re-signed and bringing it back and. Well, then go ahead. That's what,
I'm
she's
looking.
got the motion and.
So, I want to do what's best for everybody. I don't want to offend anyone or be combative to our staff, so I appreciate the work that's been gone into it. I'm looking for a clause at this time that says at the discretion of the CAO, so that we have,
I won't support it if you don't include the last one, and then we can just when we know all the information, we can bring it back with. It's a waste of time for if there's anything to sign it
That's
again.
fair.
That's.
So then I'll move at this time that the town of Smoky Lake defer the current agreement with the Egg Society and administration to the September 15th meeting for more information under the 3G for time allotted.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? And carried. 7.6, disposal of equipment bucket truck. John?
Since the submission of this RFP, there has been 2 offers received. Sealed offers received, so I'd like to possibly wait till the closed session to discuss this further.
Alright. So we'll just make a motion to accept or.
Madam Chair, can I make a-
Molly?
At the time we put this into the agenda, there was no bids received, and so it was almost like a placeholder. If we didn't receive bids, we still needed discussion on that with follow-up motion, so I guess at this time, we need a motion to bring this into close.
Okay.
Or we could to open the bids and discuss the bids further then.
Okay, Mel?
That's option one. Council to enter into closed session.
Yeah, okay, can we do
Yes.
that right now?
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Sure. Can I just question that, so according to our procurement policy, we can just could amend, not just open the bids and move forward, it's not a council. The motion doesn't say that it should be brought back to council and opened in closed session.
Mel?
In the past, it's always been so that it's more wise. Well, then it's opened in closed session and it's the first time it's been, you know, revealed, yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
No,
I'm just confused, like, is this not 14.1?
Yes, it would be,
So,
but it would be. I think we can,
why don't we just move past this one, we don't have to make a motion whatsoever, because we already have it at 14.1.
can we skip an agenda line?
no,
Or-
just file it for information,
Yeah.
sorry.
Is that what
You
you
have to do
Make a
something.
motion, you don't even have to make a motion.
Okay, we can just go past
Go
it, that's
past
all I
it.
was,
And then we can open the bids in closed session and forth. You don't need a motion.
Yeah, currently already on the agenda as closed under 14.1.
no,
Yeah, that, and I know you don't have to have a motion, but then what happens is we didn't have a motion on our last meeting and you had somebody asking why there was an item without a motion. So if there's no,
okay,
This
Yeah.
one was a bit messy, because like I said, the
it's a
timeline,
little messy.
the timeline of the bids was after the agenda was
well, let's
published.
just file for information, that's not.
Yeah, in the future, we should just remove it at the agenda when we're approving
Yeah.
it. We'll just remove it if we don't. I'll make a motion to file. The numbers, I'm sorry. 7.6. All for information.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed to carry. 7.7. Street sweeper attachment for skid steer. John?
To update from the last council meeting. There's been ongoing discussion with the applicable parties in the current arrangement. Using a regionalized street sweeper. The CAO has been in talks with the county, with Sedna, Vilna, as part of the ICC. Meetings. And there was a demo performed on August 1st, and all the parties were invited to that. Only the CAO of Smoky Lake County attended. It was a limited demonstration because of some of the missing features from what we would likely be interested in. But in the limited demo, it seemed to perform as intended. And the CAO of Smoky Lake County didn't have any concerns that he brought up with that. As you can see in the attached report here, these are just ideas, but there's two different payout options based on if we were to decide to withdraw from the current arrangement. So that would have to be ironed out in discussion with further discussion with ICC.
No.
So right now, the recommendation is just to move this to the 2026 operating our capital budget.
The only other relevant information is that, we will still be doing the street sweeping before Pumpkin Fair, which is probably estimated to be about $3,500. That's the only remaining sweeping we are planning for 2025.
Enough.
Yeah, in that case, I would be in favor of the recommendation right now, and we'll sort it out with the ICC and plan that way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evelyn, did you have a?
Just for clarification, so when you say 3,000, this quote, you're saying that the old one that we have right now, that's how much the county is gonna charge us for one more time to use before the parade?
That's an estimate of what,
Okay,
and
so,
that's for the downtown area by the school and the complex, like limited areas in preparation for the Pumpkin Fair. That's an estimate. It may be higher or lower.
Yeah, I agree. And then there's more time to, maybe have more demonstrate, but people around for the demonstration to ask more questions as well. But I know there were some specific concerns with the street sweeper that. Evelyn?
I just wanna say, I think that the RFD should just be accept this for information that, there's gonna be discussions with the ICC and it's gonna come back to council and we can make a decision that there's gonna be other suggestions done at ICC. I'd like to give the CAOs a chance to even discuss it first. So I just find this is too much in this particular case. I appreciate all the different thoughts that you're trying to get in there, but I think we can just accept it for information because we're gonna be discussing this almost on a monthly basis and then I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake accept for information that the current arrangement regarding the regionalized street sweeper. Great.
Molly, you had a.
Yeah, I mean, not to convolute it further, just to echo some of those conversations, for instance, the financial spreadsheet I received a day before this was sent out. So a lot of this is rushed, and I completely agree, and I was trying to be mindful of existing motions that were on the floor to bring back. But I agree completely, and more so on terms of accepting for information, and I believe at the September 22nd ICC meeting is where we'll review further. The Smoky Lake County CAO is also looking at retrieving quotes to get for a brand new sweeper altogether, and then at that point, again, we would discuss the regionalization aspects and financial implications for either pulling the pin or I guess rejuvenating a regional agreement for a new piece altogether. So there's a lot of options at stake.
Okay. Great. All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Demolition, 7.8, demolition of derelict property located at 4204 54th Street. John?
There's not much to add, just the fire department has withdrawn their request to utilize the building for training. I believe the intention was to bring back some specifics on what the training entailed, but they just ended up withdrawing their request.
Marianne?
Thank you, John, for preparing this for us, and 2 questions. The recommendation before us on page 80 references a grant, if eligible, or do we know? Should we? Okay, should we have a reference of the grant or anything? And then my second question is page 83, like the text, is that part of this RFP or?
That was one of the prices that was obtained. He would have completed a similar sheet to the other one, but he didn't have it on him at the time, so we had to utilize, I had to have it in writing in some way, so that's what was done there. And Sorry, what was that first question that you had?
The grant.
Oh, the grant.
Molly?
Yeah, sorry, unfortunately, I was not able to access, I had that same question. Without the finance director here, I wasn't able to, you know, yeah, I wasn't even sure if we received the grant funding, status is unknown. My other question is, has council considered just the option of not demolishing it all? Letting new owners take control of that?
Evelyn.
Respectfully, yes, I know that it would be easier just to leave it there, but it is our property, and there's actually been a lot of concerns raised by, as well as myself. We know that there was an issue with somebody, what do you call it, squatting?
Yeah, okay.
Squatting there. And I'm going by anecdotal conversations with seniors at the residence, at the drop-in center, or even just a conversation that I had with somebody at Smoky Lake Inn recently, where they said they really want to see that building down. So I think so in this particular case, it's not so much about financial as it is about people wanting to see derelict properties come down and no squatters and the safety, and again, the liability. And we already did have an issue, like it's not connected to water and everything right now. There is a concern about somebody going in there, and we already had that problem with another derelict building. So I'm 110% can getting this building done ASAP.
No?
I just had one more question, before we finish the, or make a recommendation here. So this recommendation just confused me a little bit. So this is saying, to be funded from an eligible grant, RFP to be brought back to September 15 council meeting if demolition work is not eligible for the grant funding. Can I just, I would just like to make the motion that the town of Smoky Lake proceed with the demolition of the building located at 4204 54th Street, Lot 2, Block 11, Plan 872 NY for the budget amount of $8,500. If an eligible grant is available, to take it out of that. If not, to go ahead and take it out of our reserves. I don't want it to come back. I don't need it to come back. If it's eligible for a grant, please use it. If it is not, please take it down. That is, so that would be, my motion would be that if there is an eligible grant,
So
that's one, and there's another.
That's the other quote.
Okay, got it.
I know, I got confused.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's gonna be my motion.
Unless
anybody has any friendly amendments they would like to add to that, but I would like to see this has come back in it enough times. I'd like to see it to go with.
The only friendly amendment I would consider is that we take this and incorporate it into this, so it's not confusing. And that we have an actual quote, and it doesn't have to come back to council.
No, I think
Just something, because I don't think this is.
administration has a proper contract that they have to fill out with it, so I'm not.
I can
Yeah.
support that.
all in favor? None opposed, so carried.
That was general operating reserves?
7.9, 56th Street Alley wastewater main replacement update. John?
We've been trying to get this sewer main pipe replaced. Many contractors have looked at it. Unfortunately, due to the proximity of the gas line and the depth of the sewer main, no bids or interest has been received by any company that has looked at it, the job, so I believe that our best option in order to complete it would be to relocate the gas line to the east side of the alley in order to make the sewer main replacement more safe to replace and reduce the risk of any kind of damage to the gas facilities. Ideally, utilities should be separated enough that work and maintenance can be performed, but I believe the gas line was added much later than the sewer main, which caused the difficulty of replacements.
Evelyn?
Perfect timing for a development officer to walk into the room, so perhaps, you know, when it comes to this question, but is this something that the half grant can cover instead, because it has to do with property? Were you thinking the same thing? Is that why you were giving me the friendly eyebrows across the table? Yes. So we just had a public hearing earlier about this. Is it possible to transfer the money that we had allocated for that to this instead? Because this is the area that we really want to develop too, which also includes residential.
Just before John answers that, we're half on the same page. There's more money in the grant, so I was thinking not reallocating, I was just thinking, can we use the HAF grant as well?
Well,
Same thing.
then there's fighting words, but we'll get into that
Okay.
later, but it still will answer the question that, yeah.
This replacement would increase capacity of the line, so I can't speak totally to if the grant would be applicable. The development officer may be able to provide some information there.
To be honest, we need to make a firm budget plan for HAF because we've committed money now to doing different things and we also have to do our initiatives and there was never actually a budget done. So Crystal and I were kind of waiting for the CAO to start so we could set down and budget out what we're doing. I'm not sure all the details on this project either, so that's something that we can discuss, but.
No.
Okay, then my next question is, John, were you planning on relocating this gas line this fall?
Yes.
Well, then that's not going. Is it?
Marianne?
So to add to Mel's question, the last paragraph, when the initial quote for the replacement, what date was that, and have we received a new quote that allots you coming up with the 35,000?
This would be for us to complete the work with various subcontractors such as like I said here, the cathodic technician. Drill and stop of the gas line, welding services. I got prices on materials, and the directional drill is a cost per foot of the installation, so I have exact prices on that. The prices for the welder, drill and stop were estimated based on rates that are available to myself.
No. I just had one more question for the development officer. If we went ahead and changed this and used the money that we had allocated in the capital budget, and we decided that we had budget room in the HAF grant, can it be applied to it after? Like, can we pay for it? And then if there is room in it, we can then use the HAF grant if we have the budget available.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still an option to use even if we went ahead with a project. It doesn't have to be allocated beforehand.
No.
Okay, I appreciate that. So in that case, then I am in favor of the recommendation. And then putting the water or the sewer replacement back into the capital budget for 2026 for consideration, and the maintenance has been okay, ongoing, just with your guys' flushing currently, everybody's happy.
Yeah, we haven't had an issue since those couple of times early in 2024. Just a note that it does take away resources from other areas, so ideally we can get this replaced and allow us to reallocate resources more broadly. Such as like the power flushing maintenance and stuff like that. We can have more of a broad application of that versus identify or targeting problem areas every time they come.
Is it your motion?
So, what I'm gonna do is I will support it. I'm gonna support it as two separate motions because I find that when we give too many things, too many directions in a motion, they sometimes get lost. So I'll make the motion for the first half, but then I'll separate it and say, the last line. I'll make where we're gonna assign it to the capital budget. I'm gonna make it as a separate one. So I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake continue to complete ongoing proactive preventative maintenance on the wastewater main in the alleyway behind 4329 56th Street and reallocate $35,000 from the approved $130,000 for 329 56th Street wastewater main replacement project to fund the replacement relocation of the gas distribution main to allow for the replacement of the wastewater main in 2026.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried.
I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake, how do you want me to, replacement, okay. Consider for,
Add 4329 56th Street wastewater main replacement to the 2026 capital budget.
there we go.
All in favor?
Thank you, Mel, for
You're
Council Morton.
None opposed, so carried. All right. New business 8.1 sales discussion for 66 Wheatland Avenue.
This is just a request that was made to be brought forward, so. It's the lot right next door to us, lot 3, block 3, plan 803 CL, 66 Wheatland Avenue, it's zone C1 Central Commercial District, and it is 3,900 square feet. Vacant service lot.
Well,
Yeah. The background, I guess, was we purchased it, some of the talks are potentially expanding on the town office building. I have no issue putting it for sale. We do have $32,000 invested into it, however. So I wouldn't like to lose our investment.
So, what is it assessed at?
one second. Wait. Oh, sorry. Oh, purchase. Sorry.
I must have logged myself.
I could have looked it up, sorry, but I was.
The total assessment for 2023 taxes was 9,100. That was when I had a building on it. I don't know if it's decreased or increased.
And also for clarification, it's just commercial district. We don't have residential / commercial on that in this area.
No, we don't have any commercial residential. But
Okay,
like
so
if it's a multi-use at district specifically. Some of the commercial districts do allow.
Thank you. So thank you, Pam, for giving us that information. I'm hopeful that when the 2024 assessments are posted, it may have an increased value as land. So right now, because that's quite a low value, I'm not sure what your intentions were to bring this forward. But I would think that, yeah, you can post it for sale sign on it, but we're gonna take a loss and we're just doing a fishing exercise. Unless we have a vision of what it should be, or if someone else wants to build a business, they may have already contacted us or the development officer. I'm quite content to leave it as is, status quo, until such time more information can be presented. But I do appreciate you bringing it forward. Maybe you could want to share your opportunity to give us the vision.
Evelyn?
No one knows to approach us and expressed any kind of interest in that lot unless we promote it and put a sign on it. So whether that's one of our own Town of Smoky Lake for sale signs, or whether that's because we'll go through our real estate agent again, so it's posted on realtor.ca so people can see it. So yes, I believe that we should put a sign on it to see if we can solicit some interest. And again, this is something that we can say, you know, the next council can visit, we can put it up for sale for 4 months, 6 months, whatever we decide, see if we get any interest, see what we can do. And at that time, if we don't get the kind of, like, if we set a price on it that we want, if we don't get the price, but I do believe, yeah, it's just sitting there, and I don't think the average person drives by it thinking, I wonder what they're doing with that lot, and I'd like to put a bid on it, unless they see a for sale sign on it. And I'm basing this on the success that we have with our new building that's going up on White Earth.
Pam, you had a comment?
I was just gonna say, if we're putting it for sale sign, the first thing people are gonna ask obviously is what's the price, so. If that's the direction we need to establish it. And if we're listing it privately or with it.
Yes, so I added it to the agenda just to have the discussion because of the three, well, actually two. There's 2 out of 4 or 3 out of the 4 out of the 4. We're interested in pursuing this, then be great. We can give it administration direction right now. If there's no appetite for it, we can just leave it. But I would like to put a sign up on it and see what kind of interest we get.
Thank you. No?
Yeah, no, I agree with I agree. The other thing though is, I'm just wondering if we're actively still interested in looking for a grant to expand this. Because if that is the case, then that was the initial idea when we purchased it. So I would like, I just don't know how active we are in looking for that, putting that effort in. If we're gonna sell it, I say the price has to be 32,000, and I don't think we might get that on commercial. And I'd be okay with that, but I also at the same time would like an actively looking for grants to expand the space that we have. Since that was the initial, unless people don't want to do that anymore, then we can have that discussion here and put it to bed.
Evelyn?
Personally, I think that's a pipe dream, but I don't know if it's a pipe
That's
dream
wrong.
unless we do, but you see, what you just said is that we actually don't have any motion on. There's never been a motion made for that grant. I think unfortunately, it's all been done through conversations rather than done officially, so if I'm gonna say quid pro quo, Councillor Morton, if you're gonna support me in my initiative to put up a for sale sign and put a price on it and see what we can get, then I would definitely also support a motion that we direct admin to actively search for grants, because that actually now gives us options. Perhaps the grant is phenomenal and we're excited about it and we'll pursue that, or it's dismal, so we decide, like, you know, at least it's given us more options, but right now it's just sitting there, so I'd like to put some action behind it and do something with it.
Well, then I think, sorry, sorry, I didn't catch you in the yawn. Well, then if the rest of council is so that we're not just sitting idle, we could post one of our own signs and list it for 32,000. And also make a motion for administration to actively look for grants to see about expanding our town office space.
Evelyn's gonna ask if we have those in two separate motions.
No,
Oh.
I was actually gonna say, could we actually ask for a little bit more information about that too? Cause I have no idea how much that property sold for the new. So I'm wondering if it's comparable, because they bought a lot with like the floor that was left from the burnt down building. So they had to,
Very,
whereas we have cleaned up this lot. So I know, so I respect the fact that you're saying we wanna get our money back. Like, this is not a profit making, but I don't mind potentially even taking a bit of a loss on it, because we did what we had to do at the time as well, because it was, because of the shape that that building was in. And the circumstances, that last council, I know I wasn't privy to those conversations, but I've gotten, I have a good inkling of what those discussions were like. So I'm just, that's the only thing that I would add, is that we actually have something to compare it to, plus our own property that we have here on the corner. So admin could probably give us a much better perspective on how much to start with, rather than just, because I'm not comfortable just sitting here going, okay, let's throw it up for $32,000.
There'll be counterfeits.
I was gonna say, I suggested the 32, somebody might come back with less,
Yeah.
and that's what I was thinking, like, let's list it for what we have into it, and then we can have that discussion. All right, we can, what are you suggesting, then bring back more information?
I just would prefer for admin to do just like now, because all we've done is, again, this was just something to start discussion. So we didn't ask admin to prepare anything at all for this except background on it. So which they provided on their own, which I appreciate. So that's just what I'm saying, is that there's a little bit more compared, they might very well come back with $32,000, but I think that there's just a little bit more work that we can do to make that decision for sure in September on the price.
Okay, then the motion,
So to be amended then?
yeah, amend the motion for administration to actively look for a grant to expand the Smoky Lake office building, and for administration to bring back a recommendation on what to put the lot next or
The value.
for sale for. There's mine there, Carly.
Okay, all in favor?
So
None opposed, carried. Gave
Sure.
the option.
No, it is true. Can we?
Are we? what are we
Oh,
doing for
I didn't realize what time it was.
it should have been two options, because again, we're two different actions.
All right, so is it lunchtime or is it break or listen to eating?
Let's just do lunch then.
Okay, what time we back at?
12:45. Good.
Okay, we will adjourn at 12:03, or nope, we will break at 12:03 and be back for 12:45. All right, we'll call the meeting back to order at 12:50. And we'll move into bylaw and policy. 9.1 retroactive municipal tax release policy A050205.
All right. I'm gonna do my best with this one. Carly, you can jump in as needed. So it is my understanding that this was, I believe, a policy that was already approved by council and is being brought forward to address some amendments that were made in regards to late tax payments. And so we have updated the policy and it is highlighted. I'm just gonna, no, it's not highlighted. Sorry, Carly, please take over.
This was the retroactive municipal tax relief policy that was requested by council to create. And after numerous amendments, we're bringing it back for adoption.
Excellent.
So where are the edits on the policy?
I believe. Pardon? There was no edits to this one or amendments to this one. We brought it back because you wanted to see the form. So now we're bringing it back with the form.
Because when you do a side to side to side comparison policy that's been in our agenda package, there's been no edits.
She said they added the form. They didn't make edits. There was just an amendment to add.
It was, I believe she's, CAO, I think was just talking about the community standards one. But we highlighted the amendments to the community.
Yeah, sorry,
standards.
that was my error. And it is hard for me to tell in these motions exactly the history on it.
Because the reason why it was supposed to come back is because it's messy with the one section. When it comes in 3 to 4 to 5. That was brought up at the first time that it was brought forward. And several definitions that are here do not appear in the policy. And that's why it was brought. That was from March 31st. So that's why the motion was made that it would come back with amendments. And then when it came back on May 12th, none of those amendments had been made. So it was deferred until August because we believe that I made that motion because I believe that a new CAO would be in place. And then now we have it before us and none of those amendments have been made. So I will not be voting in favor of this policy until the
Mel?
Sorry, I'll let you finish till, I just, let's talk about the amendments then. Let's have a little bit of discussion. Did you have specific definitions that you weren't?
Yes, and I brought that up at our meeting on March 31st.
You have to forgive me, and it was provided?
Yes.
Is
We
there,
discussed about it in March 31st, which is why it was deferred until May to bring back those amendments.
How were the amendments given? Email or verbally at the meeting? I don't remember the.
Watch the council meeting of March 31st.
So it was verbal.
It was done in the meeting.
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking. Are they major changes? Or just minor ones? It'll take me longer to find the video. And then we can just move forward with the changes. Cause I mean, we kind of had expected the CEO to be able to finish this, but then we.
So we're gonna take the time right now to all watch the video.
No, you're gonna repeat what they are.
So the counselor who's bringing the point forward that the policy has been changed is now the one that has to repeat everything from March 31st. So no, I'm not going to do that right now.
All right. Well,
I'm pointing to something that was done on March 31st. We made a motion for those amendments to be made. So
I just want to clarify something. So it just because March 31st was a long time ago, so I can't recall. So we had it March 31st and then it came back. And I thought those amendments were made at the one that you deferred it because we didn't have the form. And I thought they were already made at that one. So that's why I'm confused about what you're saying, because I actually thought those edits and this, you're saying this document doesn't have
they're the exact same policy.
in all three. So it never was
Do
done.
you want to go, if what you're saying you believe is true,
Yeah,
and then you need to go back.
to the August one, or the
Yeah.
other one. Yeah, I can do that, but that's what you're saying. I'm just clarifying what you're saying. Sorry, I understood that this time we were just reviewing the form because that's what was missing. I thought, and so that was in addition, that's what was missing, is what you're saying. Okay. Sorry, I was a little confused there because I was like, I thought we did it. And then I thought we were reviewing the addition now of the form. So
I also want to point out that we have a motion as well from, hold on, here it is. Because we're supposed to be, there was a motion made back on, ish. We have a motion that we're supposed to have a policy for creating policies as well. That hasn't come back, and that was made at a previous meeting. So now, and that was part of the discussion as well too, is the inconsistency between the policies, which is why we already passed a motion for admin to come up with a policy for policy ready. Which would also help guide this document.
No, okay. So everything's kind of been on hold a little bit, so do we want to then like stop with the policy coming until, like, put a hold? Are we talking about putting a hold and getting a policy on writing policies? You know, like, things are just starting to roll again, so I can get on board with this. I just want to kind of know what you're thinking.
And that was brought up at a meeting, and I said that, and I said that to the interim CAO when there was ones that were not coming back. And had that discussion that everything had, when it came to bylaws and policies, needed to wait until the new CAO was in place, because we no longer have a municipal intern and we no longer had
Right.
the staff. So that was already discussed at a meeting. It was 2 or 3 meetings ago. No,
Yeah, for sure, and I get that, but like, we're like, what, 5 days in? Like, we need some time, and we keep making motions to bring back these policies. So then we should defer this, is what I'm hearing, because we can't expect, even though it's like, we have a new CAO, it's been a hot minute, right? So I just,
so the reason
Saying
this is
if
on
we-
here is because we did make a motion to bring
Yeah.
it back in August, so it was brought back in August. But it should be deferred until the next meeting in order to give new admin an opportunity to review it.
Partly.
I just wanna include one of the edits was about the clause about fire, and that's also included in here.
What page, Carly?
Sorry, I lost it. Sorry.
Point two.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Marianne?
So overall, then I think what I hear we're saying is we just want to be very gracious and give our admin a bit more time. Would that be okay to defer it and or so to not lose track of what your recommendations were, I suppose.
Yeah.
In context of the policy itself, are we okay for admin to work on it, or the concept is here? The intentions are here, it just needs tweaking, is that what I think?
So instead of passing the policy, what I would suggest is that we defer it until the September meeting in order to provide the CAO an opportunity to review all of the previous motions related to it.
Okay. Can support that.
All right, is that the motion?
That's my motion.
All in favor? I'm opposed, so very good.
Yeah.
9.2 bylaw number 18-2025 community status. Mel?
I'm prepared to make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake give first reading to bylaw number 18-2025 community standards for the purpose of regulating community standards and controlling and reducing nuisance and unsightly conditions within the Town of Smoky Lake.
All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. You want to do second reading or just? No?
We voted on the changing the bylaw last time, and unless there's new information that came up, I think we can continue on with the second and third reading. We close that door.
So if I may, just if Carly can clarify for me, and I spent a bit of time looking at this, so the second change was to change, in section, 6.2, it was to change it to 10 days, I believe from 14, where it's not highlighted, so forgive me, but we're
22.1. Change from 14 to 7 days.
or to 10.
I'm not sure where.
The motion is under 8.4. It's motion 635. That it's 10 days from the previous meeting.
And that's according to the FAL, is that where the motion you're, I'm looking at the background and it's different.
So our motion that we made at the last council meeting for this to come forward today is motion 635. It identified 3 areas of change, first 15 days, then 10, and then 7. So I see the 15 and the 7 are highlighted on pages 116 and 123. I just don't see the 10 in context. If you want, I can look up what page that motion is.
I have the motion, I'm just rereading them. Hello.
So. Motion within 10 days.
Okay. moving on. Yeah. I was just looking when it was on there.
Oh, it's 6.8. Oh, no, never mind. That's already. Then I'm review.
So I'm not the only one.
Carly?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's just the procedure of us taking action. I don't think it's actually in the bylaw. It's more of like a internal procedure,
Oh, okay.
It says,
but we can just do the first reading and then we can bring it back. To just double check.
Sorry, can you just recap that again for me? So it's not, even though we made a motion about the bylaw, it's a internal procedure followed by the, it's not in the document.
If you give me 2 seconds, I'll look
Sorry.
at the old RFP.
It's 8.4 on July 14, and then the motion is 635.
the 10 days
Mhm.
is for when they send the letter, and
And that's
I
what
wonder if it's not in the bylaw, if it's
We
just how
voted.
often.
It's just like a procedure.
They have to follow
Yeah.
up.
But we voted
Yeah.
on that and made the motion at council
Yeah.
level, so that's why I
Looking for
thought,
your-
is it missing in the bylaw, is it?
Yeah.
Or is it something that we shouldn't have even had in our motion, that it's internal and operational?
Probably could be easily added to.
I would recommend including it just because that could that could fire back during the appeal process, so I would think it should be added to the bylaw.
Let's just do the one and continue. I just would like to, so we can act on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, if I may, Amy. So thank you. And I was just, when I was prepping for the meeting, I didn't see it, even though it was part of our motion. That's why I'm bringing it forward. It would probably be a good idea, like CAO Fighton said, please include it in the bylaw. So would you like a motion to have that as well, or?
I don't know how, how it works if it's.
I think so. I think bring back for second and third reading with the amendment and say what it is. I'll get that information.
So at this time, I'd like to move to include in the community standards bylaw. Pardon me, under 6.3, subsection E-2, grass in excess of 15 centimeters in length or the presence of the weeds that in the definition of the nuisance or unsightly condition contained in this bylaw, and further that it includes that if the conditions are not addressed within 10 days, that administration can proceed with remedial action to rectify the unsightly condition at the owner's expense.
Okay, all in favor? None opposed, so carried. Evelyn?
I'd like to make a motion to include live entertainment. It's missing from the community standards bylaw. In addition to graffiti, both items are missing from our current community standards bylaw. I also suggest editing under 2.29 peace officer. It refers to a peace officer could be a member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. It then says be a member of the municipal police service. We don't have a municipal police service. So B needs to be stricken out. Yeah. Page 3 of the bylaw. Did I sound like Terry?
We did actually.
And where is live entertainment and graffiti added?
Like what, they would be completely, they would be news sections.
So it's just putting a line with that word on it, like what's the?
There's also herbaceous plant, 2.16, it doesn't appear at all in the bylaw. 2.13 fire department, it doesn't appear in the bylaw, these are all under definitions. 2.14 garden, it doesn't appear in the bylaw at all, except to say under 11.2 garden refuse. 2.2 operating condition, it doesn't appear in the bylaw. Master rates bylaw is referred to multiple times in this document, but it's not included under definitions. 2.33 statutory holiday under definitions, it does not appear in the bylaw. We talked about the grass in excess of 20 centimeter in length, but throughout the document, we also quote in brackets underneath inches.
We changed it to the 15 centimeters.
Yeah, 15 centimeters, but then 15 centimeters is because 6.5, in the case of salvage yards, it says that by the property will need to be obscured from view by approved screening from the surrounding properties as approved by the town. So I just wanted to raise awareness that we have actually included something in a bylaw, but we have not actually, because we do have Smoky Lake Collision, and we also have another business that are another salvage yard. So I just want to make council aware of that because that's now in our bylaw, should somebody call us out on it. There's also references to land use bylaw, which are unnecessary. 11.1B says 3 feet and then in brackets, 36 inches. It doesn't include the centimeters as I pointed to earlier.
Okay, sorry to cut you off, but I don't believe this is the first time we've seen this. So I don't know why you're bringing this all up at the
Because
meeting.
these are all huge errors in the
But
bylaw.
I'm saying this has been shown to us before, so why are we dissecting it now?
Because as a bylaw, we are responsible for bylaws, policies,
Yeah, I
bylaws, budget.
understand that.
So right now I am pointing out all the errors that were made in the
And then
bylaw that we
municipal
passed.
Policing is not necessarily accurate because we could have municipal police at one time and not have to adjust the bylaw, so. That could change. I'm not sure this is.
You think that we're gonna get a municipal police force in the
It's
town of
just saying,
Smoky
leave it
Lake?
open. You never know.
Is it
Anyway, that's not what I was getting at. I was saying.
also under 24 offenses and
But
penalties?
how are
This
we getting-
refers to
How is
master
this
rates
being adjusted
bylaw.
in our bylaw?
It actually is not the
Point of
master
order,
rates.
Counselor
bylaw.
Codes. What is the expectation? Are they
It's actually-
recording all of this?
It's
Or you
incorrect, Amy.
like
It's a
hearing your
badly written
voice.
bylaw that needs to be corrected.
Oh, right, but there's a better method than this.
Which is what?
I don't know.
That's actually what we're supposed to do.
Yell out all the errors to our administration during our meeting? That
Master
are not,
rates bylaw, it is incorrect. We need to fix our bylaw.
I'm not disagreeing that there could be amendments made, but I'm saying that this is not the method that is appropriate.
What do you suggest instead? Because the bylaw is in front of us for passing reading, so I'm not going to add my vote to a unanimous vote, passing a bylaw that has so many errors
We're not
in
doing
it.
that.
So if I could weigh in on this and I hear what everyone's saying, that you'd like to have a bit of a makeover. We've passed first reading with specific changes. So again, it will be coming back. Is it a better time to, again, being gracious to our new CEO, let her have some time to review it and say, when it comes back to second reading, give her the authority or carte blanche to bring something specifically targeted with some changes rather than a complete makeover that can better serve our council and our community.
Everyone? Changes to the bylaw cannot be made without the approval of council. That's why there is no private emailing and saying, here are all the edits. Unless it's like a grammar or a spelling mistake, which is minor, but these are significant changes to the bylaw. I'm also pointing out that they're referencing a master rates bylaw, which is not the case, because as you can see, we actually have a Schedule A. So Schedule A should be referenced, not master rates bylaw. So it's a bylaw that needs to be corrected. So I need to do that here at the table, which is why I'm doing it now, when appropriate, because we're about to. They were, in fact, admin recommended that we pass it in all readings, so
It's not
we're
actually,
not going
that's
to.
not what they said. They said one reading. And then she would bring back information, but you're right. You're right, and I'm gonna agree with that. But what's not fair is for you pointed it out that the bylaw has to be approved by all council. I can't, you're blowing this up on me right now. So how can I review the changes and tell them to do it when I haven't, whatever you're saying, I need to also digest that to see if I agree with you. So just blowing it all up here and then expecting all of us to just jump on board is also not fair. So let's be fair. And you have some edits, that's good. And we want to do revamp and clean this up, and I can get on board with that, and I like to do things properly. But it also is blowing it up on us right now that we are supposed to jump on board with all of your edits and all of us tell administration to follow what you're saying, but I need to know what you're saying also. Right? So I'm trying to keep up with what you're saying as you're blurting it out and stuff, and I love that you have it all in front of you, but you can see it, I can't.
So this is what we've done for the last 3.5 years. Now you're telling me to do it somewhere different, because this is what we've done. So what is it that, then tell me right now, because I would love to change this bylaw. I would love to have the edits done to it and have the errors corrected. So you tell me, what do you want me to do? Have this photocopied and have it added to the next agenda so you can take a look at it? Because this is what we're supposed to be doing
Yeah.
in the meeting. And this is what I've done prior. So now you're saying, what you're saying, okay, fine, I actually want you to get on board, but now you're telling me to do it differently than what we've done for the last 3.5 years. Because this is what we have done, is that I have suggested all these different edits and then it comes back.
Can I just answer that? Okay, so when there's some grammar and some spelling and you are really good at noticing that, I am not, and I recognize that, I never have any issues, but we're talking about significantly changing, like, you're talking about removing quite a bit, like I was trying to follow, and I can't follow this quickly on removing all of these things. When you're talking about the master rates bylaw, I have to go and look, should it be say master rate? Because maybe it does, maybe it's supposed to, but you're saying it's not supposed to, but I don't know that. So we're talking about significantly changing this document, that's all I'm saying. When it's grammar and spelling, I can totally get on board with you saying, hey, the here, let's change that, bring back. I can get on board with that. But I do need some time, like, to decipher if it should say master rates bylaw or not. That is a significant change. So something like this, honestly, and I don't know how the rest of council prefers, but you reviewed your agenda. I would have preferred an email saying, hey, guys, I have like quite a few edits to this bylaw that I don't think should be in there. Can we defer this to another meeting? Can we talk about it in the meeting? Whatever. Like, I would have liked to have just been able, here's what I have, photocopy, an email, whatever, so that I could have been prepared as well. I honestly didn't do a deep dive clearly like you did, and I was looking, I want to get this 15 centimeters, like, so that we can act on this bylaw. So that was my focus, honestly. And if now I want to go look at this master rates bylaw, if it's talking about it and it should be Schedule A instead, then yeah, that's a big change to this document. Because those are two different documents that it's referring to. So I do want to know if that's what it's supposed to be. So actually, if you don't mind, can you just tell me where that master rates one is again, so I can look at that? I'll put it in my notes, but yeah, I would suggest then that we.
You got the bylaw in front of you right now?
I do, yeah.
So on page 12 of 14, under offenses and penalties. Do you see how it says that offense is set out in the master rates bylaw? That's not the master rates bylaw. It's actually in the Schedule A that's attached to this bylaw.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out to me.
So, and I think, thank you for this spirited conversation and discussion, and I think with our new CAO, we trust that she will bring back a product that will be appeasing to all parties. So I think there's probably some work to be done, and thank you, Councillor Copes, for picking that out or pointing that out to us. But I want to leave it at admin and give that opportunity just to go over it, look at a very holistic approach and say, can we do these edits and then come back for the second or third reading, or just, would that be something that would work for you or for us?
Yep.
Madam Chair, question?
Yep.
Missing a lot of the history here, obviously. Have we done a comparison of other municipal community standards, bylaws? I'm gonna guess this could be, what can I say? This could be a lot bigger than what it needs to be. I'm just wondering, have we done a comparison? There's a lot of things that aren't in here compared to other municipalities, and so has that already been streamlined? If we're leaving it in my hands to come back, I wanna know kind of what's been looked at.
Evelyn? There's 3 separate bylaws for it. There's a noise bylaw. It wasn't called community standards, it was called unsightly.
Okay.
And a third one, which I'm trying to blank, so that's what it was. I was taking
Okay.
3 old bylaws and putting them together. It was suggested by previous admin that we do it that way, because that seems to be that way that most communities are going right now.
Yeah.
Bullying and harassment was added to it as well. But that's also something that other municipalities have created as separate. Devon, for example, has a separate one to deal with that rather than putting it in community standards. It's a standalone. So this is why this was the first one put together. And yes, I did give the grammar and the spelling and whatever edits at the time. And when this came back, you can actually see the different color ink. Those edits were not incorporated at the time. And another thing is I'm sure you know from bylaw writing, none of the definitions are capitalized, which is very important when you're writing a bylaw. Because definitions are one of the most important things about the document, because then when you go through it, that's what the capitalized words refer back to the definitions, which explains what is meant by that definition.
And has this bylaw received any legal review at this point?
No. I think that'll be questions for your assistant CAO about that, but this was, this has, like Councillor Cope said, it has been redone. This came back to us just talking about the nuisance as of the grass.
Yeah.
Height and stuff, so
That
those were
much
the
I knew.
edits, yeah.
That's all I knew, okay.
So you know what, I don't think, I don't think we'll be very helpful on the background information on the legal or things like that.
All right.
I don't believe
No, we don't need any animals. 9.3 bylaw number 12-2025 Ukrainian 2020 bylaw. Evelyn?
I did make a motion. I said that I was making a motion to include graffiti and can include, so do you want me to withdraw that motion? I can withdraw that motion.
yeah, I think so, and then have everything.
I'll withdraw the motion. Sorry, pardon me, I kind of lost track. So do I need to do anything with the internal policy, or have you already do it on that?
We're gonna bring all that back to the next one.
Thank you.
But you're up for 20.
Pass. Sorry, I was not ready.
Oh, I'll put the motion on the table that Town Smoky Lake give first reading bylaw number 12-2025 Ukrainian Twinning Committee bylaw for the purpose of pursuing joint projects of benefit to the town of Smoky Lake County, and Inclusive District. Chief.
All in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
One the comment.
You get comfortable with your second reading?
I'm gonna pass, so. Is there any discussion that we should have, or is there any recommendations from anyone? I sit on this committee and I think the bylaw was just the MOU was done with new dates. So the bylaw is a repeat of the original bylaw. And there was some changes in that Ivana Francouz was not in the province, so the word oblast was not used anymore. They became their own region. So I feel comfortable moving forward if that's. I'd like to turn to Councillor Copes. Is there anything that you would caution us against approving, or
Early, did you have like something that
I just wanted to, the funding formula was also updated.
funding?
The funding formula.
oh, okay, sorry. You're right. We'll just give it first reading and then move on, or? Well, I was told that the preferred method would be for me to email everybody with the edits so that everybody has a chance to review them.
Yes. So you have a lot of it.
Yes, that was my question. Did you have a lot of edits before you feel comfortable with the second reading? Is there quite a few? That's all I'm asking.
So I will email. My edits. And then you can decide whether you agree or disagree with the edits.
Okay. Let's move on to 10, mayor and council reports. 9.1, mayor and council reports and committee reports. Evan?
In the past, Northeast, my boards, Northeast Unicor, Evergreen, and so on have minutes. I noticed that we don't get minutes from other committees, and I would really like, can we make sure that we get those included in them? Because it's been inconsistent. There's some boards that we haven't had any minutes included. And I have questions about some of those boards, but I'm not gonna get into it right now. I just am asking friendly to have all boards and committees have their minutes included. Or to review, again, maybe admin wants to review that too, because
Maybe what something in the procedural bylaw, I'm just looking that up.
Okay, yeah. If you're okay to accept the reports.
I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake accept for information the mayor, council, and committee report items A to D as follows. A, Mayor Chernichen, July, August 2025 report. B, Deputy Mayor Prosky Zaruski, July, August 2025 report. C, Councillor Morton, July, August 2025 report. D, Councillor Copes, July, August 2025 report.
All in favor? And the votes are carried. Right, 11.1, 2025 winner of the Minister's Awards for Municipal and Public Library Excellence. No,
I'd like to make motion one that the town of Smoky Lake accept for information the letter received by Dan Williams, Minister of Municipal Affairs, regarding the town of Smoky Lake being selected as 2025 winner of the Minister Awards for Municipal and Public Library Excellence for our submission of Growing Our Community Development Streamline Initiative dated July 15th, 2025.
any discussion? Evelyn's Evelyn, sorry.
Just, this was submitted on behalf of the Smoky Lake Library, correct?
Mhm.
So just a huge thank you to them for doing it, because it's very cool that we won this award. Do we get anything?
I think there is a. Oh, the town submitted.
When they say an award, is this a certificate on the wall? Is it just this letter? Is it actually like a trophy with a little arm on it?
I wish it was true. I hope it's. Just to answer your question, from what I had received so far was just email, I congratulate. I don't know, and we haven't had a meeting yet.
Well,
So Chair, yeah, it just says in the letter that department staff will be in contact for further information. It says we get highlighted on the Government of Alberta's website. It was our intent to issue a press release regarding this, so there might be more information to come. We'll see how we.
I think so, like some.
Yeah,
Marianne?
So I can go ahead and make that motion for number 2, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add one thing to it, if that's all right as well. I move that the town of Smoky Lake administration write and distribute a press release regarding being selected as the 2025 winner of the the Minister's Award of Municipal and Public Library Excellence for public distribution, and direct administration to write a thank you letter to Honorable Minister Dan Williams for awarding us the award, so to speak. And if that's okay, that's the motion.
Evelyn? Okay, so motion, we're gonna have a vote on both motions, because this motion one was on the table first. I don't think we voted on it, because that was part of the discussion. I thought we called it.
Oh, no, we were gonna call,
Oh.
but Evelyn had a question, yeah.
All in favor for.
So can we do,
one?
okay, so friendly amendment to yours, can you?
I'll
We
withdraw.
frog it over after we vote on the first motion.
Sorry, when you put your hand up, I thought you were moving.
All in favor for motion 1. to follow.
You can stop me before I read it.
I didn't realize you were going there and, sorry,
Okay, and then motion two. Okay, I'll call motion two.
I'd like a discussion about motion two.
Okay,
Okay, first of all, thank you for adding the thank you. I love that. So thank you. Thank you, all the thank yous, you know, and just a friendly reminder to admin that we have a motion 136 twenty twenty-five, February 24th, 2025. We've approved a template, but the template was supposed to come back with a policy as to for what reasons do we release press releases. And I have a policy to guide us, but otherwise, yes, I was very excited to hear you use the words press release, because this is something to celebrate and to put out as a press release. Also involved in that motion is where we send these press releases to, so that they do actually appear in the press. So again, that's all stemming back from February 24th, 2025.
Okay. Okay.
all in favor? None opposed, so carried. Oh, yeah.
Do you want to say thank you?
Yeah, everything is.
I think we covered that. 11.2 invitation 2025 Miss Siwak Métis Government Annual Citizens Gathering. Otepemisiwak.
Luckily, luckily it's Evelyn's one.
Good convenience.
Yeah. Evelyn,
So I'll pass the motion, but with your schedule, you're able to make a Friday morning event?
Thursday.
It's Friday.
Friday, so 22nd. Yes, I am, it's at 9. I would have been able to make it to work anyway. I don't leave till 10. So yeah, sorry.
So you're sure that you're able to give your certificate? You told them?
Oh, yeah, I've been there every year for 4 years.
Make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake approve Mayor Turchin to attend the Otipemisiwak Métis Government Annual Citizens Gathering opening ceremonies on Friday, August 22nd at 9 a.m. Located at the Métis Crossing in Smoky Lake County, in reference to the email and invitation from Andrea Sandmeyer, President Otipemisiwak Métis Government, dated July 3rd, 2025, and deem the event as a council approved event.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. 11.3, pulled out from 12, so the dandelion report, item B. Marianne?
So I'd like to speak to this on behalf of council. We had one report in 4 years, and I'd like to maybe have a discussion as to, there was a lot of questions in the course of 4 years. Are the panels operating to capacity, or there was some repairs that were required? Are we up to date? Then the hardscaping, landscaping, all these things come into play, and then our overall costs and industry standards of now solar energy is not being produced at what once was projected levels or totals. So the goal of pulling this to correspondence requiring action is that I'd like to move that I'd like to have a discussion of council that we could request Dandelion, and I don't know if it's the same person, Mikhail, at the time, that he could come back as a delegation or someone from that company. Steve prepared us this report. So even if it's October, November, December, or in the future, they're just coming. I believe in other communities that they have projects like Stettler. They're more available to community members or municipal leaders.
No.
I think that's a really good idea, actually, and then, not actually, but I mean, that is a really good idea. Also because I think, election, new council, update, like,
Even our own stuff.
like in new staff, I think that it would be nice to, hear from somebody. I selfishly would like to hear that as well. But it makes more sense for a little bit later. I think it's a really good idea.
I'll make a motion at this time to direct administration to contact Dandelion Renewables to have a representative present as a delegation at a future regular council meeting.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. 11.4, section A in 12.1, yeah.
Okay, the reason I pulled this one is because I think we're missing an opportunity if we don't actually respond to this letter, so. In the spirit of the same one that Marianne was saying, thank you, this is one where we can say congratulations and welcome to your new position. But also, it's our opportunity to wave our hands in front of his face about, because he does state in here, I found this was important. That he discussed in his letter about how there's a challenge with having enough police in the area. So if anything, my suggestion is, unless somebody wants to improve upon this suggestion, but I was gonna say is that we actually invite him as a guest to our joint municipalities meeting and suggest to him that he attend. Not only will we feed him dinner, but he can address a county, 2 villages and a town at the same time, along with our MLA and of course with our own sergeant in attendance. So I just see that as an opportunity to do some networking and get some attention for the town of Smoky Lake. Potentially even mention that we wish to host an RCMP youth camp here next summer. So those are just my suggestions and I'm looking for any kind of feedback. Better suggestions. But we can also speak about rural crime and recruitment and retention.
No,
Yeah, and that's a very nice idea. And it does talk about how, like, he does talk about partnerships and how important they are, so. Maybe he would come or a visit.
Never miss an opportunity.
Yeah.
As well, just be kind and respond to it and give them congratulations. Because otherwise we're just like other municipalities where we just file it for information.
And so to recap, that joint municipalities, I believe is September 29th.
no, I think it's the 19th, or is that Thursday, Friday?
The 29th actually of September. In Vilna. I just found out through the grapevine.
I actually don't have an invite for that.
Well, that's because we actually were going, when we discussed it, we were going to be a no-show at it.
Oh.
but
Okay,
Because we didn't agree with the rest of the municipalities scheduling a joint municipalities right before the election. We felt it was. So when I say joint municipalities meeting, I actually don't mean that one,
Okay.
probably the first one with the new council instead. Because I still would like to encourage the rest of us to not attend that one, and I find it. Unless we call it the Last Supper.
yeah.
That actually made me laugh. One thing, can I ask administration to send out a calendar invite for that then? For that one? Okay.
I literally was just told by their CAO.
Yeah, I agree. If the invite could be for the following one, who will be hosting that?
No, well,
No, after, the next one. Is it us? Cause it would be very nice if we were inviting to the one that the town is hosting. But
I believe we are the fall, we were, what time of year were we at the golf course when we had the dinner there?
Ours was in December. We hosted
So
first December, then was
Wasn't that
that would be,
the December joint municipalities meeting, so it's on our turn.
Will they still be around?
let's hope so.
So that's
Alright,
the motion.
Okay.
all in favor? None opposed, so carried. 12.1, correspondence to file for information from C to
Shining Sea. I will make a motion, the town of Smoky Lake file for information, the correspondence listed from, C to G.
all in favor? None opposed, so carried. All right. We are ready to move into closed session. 14.1 bucket truck
bids.
You up?
So is there, before we go into closed session, is there anything that needs, just to confirm, please don't shoot the messenger. Is there anything that we need to do with the bucket truck bids in open session?
If you're making an motion to award, you'd have to be,
You come out.
yeah.
Or, okay, so.
As of now, I haven't even seen there was 2 bids that came in. Sealed, okay. They will have personal information, I don't know.
I move to go into closed session at 1:42. To discuss the following bucket truck bids pursuant to the Access to Information Act, ATI, section 19, disclosure harmful to business interests of a third party.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. All right, I get a motion to come out of closed session. Who wants to make
I'd
it?
like to move that we come out of closed executive session at 1:46 PM.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. No?
I can go ahead. I just want to say one thing. It's not a recommendation, but it might, I'm doing this right. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I make a motion that the town of Smoky Lake accept the bid submitted by Terry Carpishin for the Unit 13 1993 Ford Altech AT200 bucket truck. And that administration proceed with the sale of the equipment in the amount of $5,678 as discussed in closed session.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. All right, I'll get a motion to go into closed session for OS 14.2.
Sorry, was there another You got.
Mel?
I'll make motion, the town of Smoky Lake go into closed session to discuss the following matter, request for proposal 05-25 pursuant to the Access to Information Act, section 19, disclosure harmful to business interests of a third party at 1:47.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. I'll get a motion to come out of closed.
To move to come out of closed session at 1:58 PM.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And who would like to make the recommendation? Mel?
I can make the recommendation that town of Smoky Lake award for proposal number 5-2025 to Mohammed Al Hatta based on their submission submitted on July 28th, 2025.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And I get a motion to go into closed session for 14.3 Pumpkin Patch Daycare for Walter.
Mayor, to move to go into the closed session for, to discuss the following matter, Pumpkin Patch Daycare Cooperative pursuant to the Access to Information Act, ATIA, section 19, disclosure harmful to business interests of third party at 1:59 PM.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. I'll get a motion to close session. As well,
You just open the door, just.
all in favor? None opposed, so carried.
Sorry, who made that?
I did.
Mel did. Marianne, you want to make the next
Um, I move that the town of Smoky Lake direct the CAO to review the original articles of incorporation from the Smoky Lake Community Daycare Cooperative Pumpkin Patch Daycare and bring back information regarding the shareholders' agreements to a future regular council meeting.
All in favor? And opposed, so carried. All right, last but not least, 14.4. And get a motion to go close.
Before we, if you don't mind, before we do this, what is the FOI for the HPI that we're going into close? Is it number 2?
I've been saying number 4.
Sorry, is it number 2, the options? Is that still stand? I don't know why we're going to close session.
I would like discussion with council regarding standard practice regarding land discussions. The topic itself will be subject to ATIA
Okay.
at the discretion of council following that conversation.
And you know what? I just found it on number 2. It's the subsection or section 29, subsection 1.
So that should be in the motion.
Yeah, we haven't made it yet to go into closed, but yeah, that,
It's like an addition to this that I'm requesting.
yeah, so I'll have someone go into closed.
I can make that motion that the town is going to be go into executive session at 2:50 PM. As per the Access to Information Act, ATIA, advice from officials 29 subsection 1.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Motion to come out of closed session,
I'll make that motion.
all in favor? None opposed, so carried. And Mayor Evelyn,
I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake directed Min to bring back a template for council action request, CAR, to a future meeting of council.
all in favor? None opposed, so carried. And then I will need another motion to go into closed regarding the discussion, the topic of, can I say the
You'll have to.
okay, 72 Wheatland Avenue property.
What's the EF?
Do you have it there?
It's the advice, no.
Section 29(1).
Is it still the same?
Yeah,
Advice
it's
from
still the same.
Officials 29(1).
Yep.
The head of the public body may refuse to disclose information to an applicant if the disclosure could reasonably be expected to reveal positions, plans, procedures, criteria, or restrictions developed so the sources of conduct or other negotiations by or on behalf of the government of Alberta or a third body or consideration that relate to those negotiations. All in favor, for 313 at 313. None opposed, so carried. All right, motion. A motion to come out of closed session.
They come out of closed session at 2:24 PM.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And then a motion to.
I'd like to make a motion to accept for information the discussion in closed session regarding 72 Wheatland Avenue.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. The meeting is adjourned at 3:24.